All right, so why don't we get started here. First off, I'd like to welcome everybody to today's event. I'm Adam Berezin from MS Dynamics World, and once again, I want to thank everybody for taking the time to attend, as well as our presenters taking the time to be with us as well. So today's session is going to be fast-paced and fun. We're joined today by representatives of 4 leading Dynamics ISVs who will each present their company's solutions to all of you. And these solutions have been specifically designed to enhance your CRM or D365 for Sales platform. Before I hand it off to the ISVs in a moment, I just want to mention that we will welcome your questions. You can enter them at any time during the event on the Q&A box to the right side of your screen, and our presenters will get to all of them at the end of the event. Also, we have 4 giveaways during the hour, and as you may have already seen in our reminder emails leading up to the event, immediately after each of the ISVs presents, we'll be picking a prize winner, courtesy of each of the presenting companies, and that should be fun. So let's get started. Each of our presenters will have 12 minutes, and we're going to begin now with Dave Cassioppo from emfluence. So Dave, I'm just going to make you the presenter, and if you want to share your screen, then we'll get going.
Sounds great. All right, so just a little bit about emfluence quickly. We are a marketing automation platform provider. So we help clients create, deploy, and track multi-channel marketing campaigns online. And what we're talking to you about today is our integration with Microsoft Dynamics CRM. So obviously, things you use marketing automation for: content strategy, email marketing automation, customer surveys and responses, and social media engagement are a few of the ways that you would use marketing automation. What our platform does specifically is email marketing, so you could stack us up against the best of ESPs out there in terms of our features and functionality. We do full marketing automation, so you can string campaigns and email campaigns together to create workflows. We have website tracking, and that includes lead scoring, so we're tracking activities for those people that we're in contact with and associating point values to them so that we can later target them or not target them based on those values. We allow you to create forms and landing pages, online surveys, and social media, and that includes Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn, with Instagram coming soon. And so we can publish to those channels and pull data back in. So a little bit about the integration. So we are a solution file, so it's something that you install and configure. You can map to entities at that point, and you can map to one or more entities. Most frequently it's leads and contacts, but we're seeing more people expressing interest in linking to accounts for account-based marketing, as well as you could link to a custom entity if that made sense for your particular deployment. So, and then you set the data flow. So are you going to push data from CRM to emfluence and or from emfluence to CRM? So you have options there on which way data is going to go. What makes us a little different is that we operate as a SaaS platform and also as a full-service digital agency. So we are, in fact, users of our own technology on behalf of lots of our clients, not all of them. We have actually the majority of our clients treat our platform as a SaaS model where they're logging in and using the software and just connecting with us if they need support. But we do have full-service customers where we will provide complete digital strategy and execution, and they'll just rely on us for reporting and results. So we do have a team of digital strategists on board. We have excellent responsive customer service. We can still customize our system based on user responses, and in fact, we send out a everyday 30-day notification to anyone within our user base asking for their thoughts and needs, and then we try to make sure that we're responding to those and then report on that on a monthly basis on what items we were able to address or build for customers. So user experience for us is equally important to functionality. We have a very fully functional marketing platform, and we think that the user experience stacks up against anybody and everybody that's out there. So, with that, we're going to take a quick look at what the integration looks like within Microsoft Dynamics. So at this point, what you're seeing is our entire environment embedded within Microsoft Dynamics. So the data is syncing in the background for this. We can see a dashboard that would include a list of our available email subscribers. So we have 16,000 available, about 5,000 that are held. So those mean they're contacts that have either hard bounced or soft bounced too many times, and then a suppression file. We have links to Google Analytics, and then we have some basic data for all of our Twitter handles, Facebook accounts, and LinkedIn accounts, so we can see what sort of audience is addressable. We also have some information about our prospects, our contacts by their lead score or contact score, so that we can check into the details of that, as well as rolled up by domain in order to do some account-based marketing. So we thought what would be a good demo for you today is a real-world use case of how someone might use our technology. And in this case, let's just say, for example, you are a SaaS company that is speaking to a group of attendees on a webinar, and you would like for them to be able to reach out and connect with you through a landing page. So with that in mind, you can go to the landing pages within our system, and you could create or modify an existing landing page. So here we have one called MS Dynamics World Demo, Influence Marketing Platform. If I click on that page, you can see we've got a simple process for deploying this page. We selected a template. We're going to publish our content. We're going to specify the response page, have some basic settings, and then we're going to publish this page. So what do we need to fill in here? We need to give it a title. We can give it an HTML title, but it'll adopt this initial title, our internal title, if we don't already have one. Give it a description if we want, and we can even include meta tags if that's relevant, although with the landing page, the likelihood that you're going to get indexed by Google and the time frame that your landing page exists is questionable, but it's there if you want it. Then you decide where you want the page to live, and in this case what we have is a subdomain called more.emfluence.com. What our customers do is they set up a subdomain that points to us. It can be anything they want. Once they point that to our server, you can name pages anything you want. So in this case, we've named our page MS Dynamics World Demo. From there, we can have a failure URL, which means that if we decide to deactivate this page, where do we want to redirect them to? We might want to take them to a home page or to an alternate demo page or something like that. With that in place, we fill in the blanks essentially in our template. So this is our landing page template. Says, thanks for attending the session. If you're interested, reach out to us for more information. And then we embed a form. And so we're going to take a look at what it's like to edit that form or to create that form. So if I double click to edit it, a form modal is going to pop up. We're going to say we want to require email. We're going to go to the first name field and we're going to edit that. We're going to say that needs to be required as well. It's going to be a text field. Field name is going to be first name, so we'll save that. Want to make sure last name is also required. Save that. We're going to need to add a few more fields, so we're going to want company and required. We're going to add a title. Going to be required. And a phone number that's going to be required as well. Okay, with all of our fields added, we want to change the order just a little bit so it makes a little more logical sense. So we'll just drag email down below, and we'll go to the options on this form. It's got the name of the form, it's an active form, a description if we want to get it, and then we're going to determine what happens with the data as it populates this form. And in this case, we're going to feed it into a group called MS Dynamics World Lead Group 1. And we're going to have a submit button that says get more info. And we're going to add a CAPTCHA to it if we want to add a CAPTCHA, which is always a good idea. We can omit consumer domains. So if your form's getting spammed up, we can say, I don't want to include any of the most common consumer domains. So that'll help us get legitimate business interest attracted to our form. You could also put other domains to admit, to exclude as well. So if you wanted to exclude competitors, you could add them here too. With that information in, we'll save. Go back. Oh, right. Save and close. And click OK. And we can see that our form is automatically updated. With that done, we'll scroll back up, go to the next button, look at our response page and what's going to happen when someone fills out that form. So automatically, sales at Emfluence is going to get notified. It's going to have a subject line of MS Dynamics World Leads, and it's going to have a brief thank you message. With that complete, we'll go to the settings, which are just who has access to this page, and we'll publish our page and save it. So that page is now live. Now we need to determine what's going to happen. And in order to do that, we're going to create a workflow. So we have an existing workflow called MS Dynamics World Lead Nurture, and in that workflow, we have our group. So the first group is the one that's fed by that form. We're going to connect that to an email auto response message, and then we're going to compose that message. So if I go to that message, I can see that a lot of this data has been pre-filled in. So we've got MS Dynamics World Lead Nurture. It's a copy of the original one. It's coming from Emfluence support and from support@emfluence.com. However, we can make this come from any domain that has been authorized to send through our system or any email address that's been authorized to send. So this could be highly personalized. So I could instead make this go from a specific account rep assigned to a contact record, as well as the account rep's email assigned to that contact record as well. So you can see that marketing has a lot of control and can deploy an entire campaign on behalf of the sales team. So then we'll personalize the subject line that says first name, thanks for your interest in Emfluence. We can add Google Analytics tracking if we want to do that, and then we'll compose our message. So in this case, we've already selected a template here, and it's going to start off with first name, thanks. We received your request for more information. Below here, what we want to do is link them to another page in case they want to watch a quick video. So the way our email template system works is you start out with a layout that's defining basically the wireframe of your content. So I can insert a layout part here, and then I put content within that layout part. So in this case, I need to add a button, and you can see that that button then has some great control over how it appears. We're specifying our brand colors. You set this as a preferences, and so it helps keep you on brand standards. I want that orange active button color, and I want to watch the video as my title. And I'm going to link that to another landing page. So we'll go to page, and we'll type in MS Dynamics World page with video, and we'll hit save. And then we'll scroll out of full screen mode, and we're going to hit next. At this point, we have the opportunity to preview the content for anybody who's in there. So if I type in my own email address at david@emfluence.com, we can preview and see that it is in fact personalized for David.
30 seconds.
Okay, you can also do a pre-flight check. That pre-flight check is going to go out and do a rendering across dozens of email clients and tell us what this email campaign looks like. Once I've gone through this entire process and set the workflow to live, it'll be absolutely active, and you're welcome to go through and fill out that online form, and you'll be able to get that email auto response, as well as you'll receive 3 other messages that are going to be added to that workflow over the course of the next 6 to 10 days. That's what we've got for you today.
Great, thank you, Dave. Now, actually, while I'm switching over to the next presenter, which will be Dave Malda from eBridge, I'm going to announce the prize winner. So the winner of a My ROIs Are Up Here Emfluence t-shirt goes to Raymond Hill. So congratulations, Raymond. We'll send you a notification after the session. And now I'd like to welcome Dave Malda from eBridge Connections.
Excellent. Thank you, Adam, and thank you, David, for that presentation. So my name is it's Dave Malda, and I've been at eBridge Connections here for the past 9.5, 10 years. So it's exciting for us as an integration platform to kind of see the changes that have happened over the past 9, 10 years, the move into 365, and some of the exciting things that are happening there. And obviously we begin to deploy our platform so that we can hook into 365 and all the various versions that are coming out. So it's kind of a rolling real-time thing. As they come out with different modules, we're able to hook our platform into that. So what I wanted to share with you today was a case study. It's a use case of a customer of ours called EGIA, and they're running our platform to hook their WooCommerce e-commerce website into Dynamics 365, and I believe it's specifically the Business Central edition. So give me a few minutes. I'll walk you through what William at EGIA does and how he uses our platform. I'll do a quick little demo. It's really static pages, but I'll walk you through sort of the user interface. And then there's some tools that we can use at the end where we can show our blueprint builder. But the case would be that I'm going to walk you through our system here. And then, of course, as Adam mentioned, I'm happy to answer questions at the end. So thank you very much. So this is EGIA. We took a nice snapshot of their front office there, but essentially what they've employed eBridge to do is to hook up their WooCommerce website into their Dynamics 365 version of software. So what EGIA ran into is they had a challenge where William, who's the manager of their training information systems, was supporting a staff that was basically taking rebate orders from their WooCommerce website, and they were rekeying those into Dynamics 365 as orders. That was one of the workflows that there was a lot of duplicate data entry, a lot of effort, a lot of training that had to happen between both systems. So as the rebates would roll in throughout the day, William and his team would basically be flip-flopping between systems, rekeying in data into Dynamics 365, and that's where he reached out to us at eBridge. And as we went through the process of scoping out the work that needed to be done, one of the things that came up was, obviously he wanted a trusted partner, someone that had been working with Microsoft for a long time. We are a gold certified partner, and we've been working with Microsoft for the last 20 plus years. Something that's new on the eBridge side is we are hosted now on the Microsoft Azure platform. That was important to them. They did want the security and all of the reliability that goes around that system. So with us piggybacking on that system, I think that made William and his team, really appreciate the security and the support that they're going to get on the back end of the Azure platform. So you can see here I've got a couple of bubbles on the left there where outside of e-commerce we do have customers that may add on a shipping component. If they're shipping a physical product, they may be drop shipping things, or they've got warehouses throughout the country where they're sending other orders from. So you can bolt on all of these different pieces to our existing platform, and we refer to it as a universal integration platform. So really the intent is that you can plug in WooCommerce, but you've also got a whole pile of other pre-built connectors that you can bolt on as you scale out your system, and that was important for William and for his team. So here's just a little bit, just a quick snapshot of our dealings with Microsoft over the years. Like I mentioned, we've been a gold certified partner for about 20 plus years, I think 23 years to be exact. We're listed on the AppSource, the Microsoft AppSource platform as well, so you can find us there. And then I've listed a couple of other names of case studies, use cases of folks that are using our platform, not necessarily into 365 in this case, but Dynamics AX, Dynamics GP, Dynamics Nav are some of the popular ERPs and accounting packages that we support. And you can see each of these customers. So Char Griller is running an e-commerce, I believe it's a Shopify Plus site, where they're taking orders for smokers and grills and that type of thing. We've got EGIA, who I'm profiling here today, and then we've got Diebold, who they make the casing for ATMs and for anything that dispenses cash. So Rad Power Bikes is another one. EDI, Idea Village, is one of our bigger EDI trading customers that is running probably 65 EDI trading partners through our platform. So you can see here that the eBridge solution is one that is very flexible. That was something that William and his team really liked. As they grow and scale their business, they're going to be able to bolt things on and add them, to the platform. So this is going to be the world's shortest static demo, so I do apologize for that. But basically, this is what William and his team would do, not on a daily basis, but more likely on I would say probably every 2 days, they're going to log into eBridge. They may do this because they've received an alert to their phone. We may have an order that has an error or some type of an issue with it, and he's going to get either a text or an email to his phone or to one of his teammates' phones, and they're going to be able to log in here to see what the actual error is. There's a few things in here that you can configure after our professional services team has set up the solution. You can see here there's a couple of different connectors that we're just profiling here. So we've got WooCommerce, but we work very heavily with BigCommerce, Shopify, Magento, Amazon. There's a trading partner here, Costco. These are all components that can be managed after the fact. So this form here would just show you the different touch points and workflows that they've got set up going into their Dynamics 365. So again, here's a screen that they won't necessarily go into again on the daily, but if they were to change some of the business rules or some of the logic where they're moving the data back and forth, you can actually go in on your own and you can apply new business rules, modify existing business rules, really change anything that would augment the data going back and forth. So an example might be somebody's selling in cases, but in 365 they have eaches. So we would need to be able to take into account that data business rule to manipulate that data to show eaches down in 365. So they would go into this area. Again, most of our customers don't go here. It's really set up. In William's case, it's set up automated, so it's running in the background. It's a 5 to 15 minute interval, and it really just circulates and runs in the background. If there's errors or issues, or if there's some reporting that they'd like to get, they will log into the platform and take a look at it. Here's the order screen. So again, it's very simple. We've tried to model it after maybe Gmail or some of the popular websites where we're able to really drill down your document type easily just with a checkbox type setup. So we've tried to keep it simple, tried to keep it where it's status focused, where people can log in, and if there's an issue, they're going to see an X, they're able to click on the order, resolve it, reprocess it. And that's what William's team does today. So one of the assets I believe we're going to leave you with today is our blueprint builder. So if you just go to ebridgeconnections.com, this is just a snapshot of the homepage. You'll see on the top right, there's a button there, Start Planning. And essentially, what you can do is if you select that button, you're going to be brought to this screen. And there's a couple of things that happen here. One is the type drop-down. If you select that, you'll see there's a few different types. There's e-commerce, there's ERP, there's EDI, and there's CRM. And as you select those different types, it's going to load the drop-downs for system and version. And you'll see once you get in there the breadth and depth that eBridge Connections and our platform support. So in this case, you'd be able to drill down to 365, take a look at the different versions and modules that we support, and also go, obviously feel free to go into any of the other Microsoft products as well. You can actually drill down by version, and then you'll notice there's a small I button right beside each workflow, and you can actually select that button, and it'll show you the different field level detail that we support. So there's a fair amount of, it's kind of like an onion that you can peel back, and you really can get into some very pointed detail to find out if we support your ERP or not. And then on the other side, most folks are selecting what they're connecting to. And again, if you were to select, say, Shopify, for example, or Shopify Plus, you can drill down into the workflows that we have out of the box, and you're able to select the eye to see what fields we support out of the box natively. If there's customizations or any other things that come up, obviously we handle those separately. We'll scope those out either with the VAR or with the partner or the client. We'll get as much information as we can, and we'll obviously make sure we share pricing prior to us getting a proposal out. So that's all I had for today, folks. I appreciate you giving me the time to share sort of a use case with you, and by all means, if there's any questions, please do feel free to send those to Adam. I'm more than happy to answer those, or even if there's follow-ups after this, you can just go to our website and send us an email or hop on our chat, and we're happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Great. Thanks a lot, Dave. So while I'm getting the next presentation set up, I'd like to announce the prize winner of a $25 Starbucks gift card, and that goes to Carla Alarcon. So congratulations. And let me actually get, Michael, I'm going to get you set up right now. So if you could go ahead and share your screen, that would be good. So our next presenter is Michael Vandenbrink from MindsUnited.
That's right. Thanks, Adam. All right. Good day, everybody. Thank you all for attending. My name, as Adam correctly pronounced in one go, is Michel Vandenbrink. I am the CTO of MindsUnited. We are a Dynamics 365 customer engagement partner service center, meaning MindsUnited provides products and services around customer engagement, focusing specifically on Dynamics 365 partners and working together with them to enable their business. We have made MindsUnited up into 3 pillars. The Cloud Partner Panel, that is our management, monitoring, and deployment platform specifically for Dynamics 365 partners, and that's what I'm demonstrating to you today. We have Jumpstart Your Solution, which is our implementation methodology and toolset to onboard new Dynamics 365 customers to use your solution or your IP, as well as a great way to minimize initial implementation time for Dynamics 365. And finally, we also have services, dedicated and on-demand services tailored specifically to help Dynamics 365 partners with things like training, consultancy, and all the way down to helping you with data migration from on-prem to the cloud, for example. We have been working with Dynamics partners for a long time. We originated out of traditional CRM consultancy, as it was called back in the day of CRM, let's say version 2.4 in 2011. And we have seen all the challenges across all of the partners. Some of them are spending a lot of time managing all of those multiple instances that they have running across their different customers, keeping track of what version of what solution is running in which instance and which customer has this solution and which customer uses that other solution, keeping track of both solutions that the partners made themselves, as well as keeping track of all of the third-party solutions they may have installed or all of the Microsoft add-ons like portals they may have installed. We see that longer implementations often delay a customer's time to market, time to value, time to satisfaction, really. Sometimes the customer gets kind of frustrated with longer implementations. And after these implementations, maybe the adoption is not that great. If you don't stay on top of the customer, their adoption might slow down, even grind to a halt. The customers might start tuning out and eventually might even opt to leave the solution or move to a different partner or move to a different platform. There is a bit of a churn in Dynamics implementations. And to summarize, really, we see that partners are facing a lot of challenges, and all of those challenges are kind of preventing them from focusing on their core Dynamics business. This is why we launched the Cloud Partner Panel. It's a management platform specifically for Dynamics 365 partners. It offers you a centralized management experience where you can monitor and manage all of your Dynamics 365 customers and all of the implementations that you've done. You can connect any existing Dynamics 365 instance to it, or you can use it to start a new implementation and onboard a totally new customer with our fast deployment methodology that we call Jumpstart. I would love to list off all the features for you, but I don't think I have quite enough time for that. So let me just show you what it looks like. I'll switch over to my browser. I've already got one open here. This is what the dashboard looks like. I'm signed into a demo partner, and I can already see at a glance how many customers I have. Right now, I see that I have 5 customers, and I'm still on my way to implementing number 6. I can see that there's actually an issue occurring right now because Cloud Partner Panel monitors all of these Dynamics organizations that I've connected to the organization. Everything is being monitored continuously. If any issues occur or if anything goes wrong, I can see it. Let me drill down into that one. And I can see here in this list of issues, I can see which customer it is specifically, who the stakeholder for that customer is, who the original implementing consultant was, and when it happened. And I can see that, oh, this is probably the issue. I can see here that they have 12 licensed users, and they're actually using 26 users. So let me drill down into that customer. I can see even more information about that customer, and I can see, yeah, that's the case. They're using one of our solutions, which we license on a user basis. And actually, they've only purchased 12 users, but they have 26 active people in Dynamics. That is, of course, not really what we want to see. So this is, from a partner perspective, a great opportunity to get in touch with that customer and to tell them about the small discrepancy in their license usage. If I go over to my customers, I can see that I'm managing more than one customer at a time. There's just one with an issue. All of the other ones are doing fine, actually. I can see for each customer who the stakeholder is, who the initial implementing consultant was. In this case, Isaac was actually very busy. I can see how many users are active for all of these organizations, and I can also see which products we're managing for that customer. We can see a few Dynamics ones over here, and we can also see that for this customer in particular, we're managing their Dynamics implementation, but we're also managing a piece of custom IP that we've deployed and licensed to them separately. And for this one, we can even see that we're managing one of their Power Apps. Thanks to the Common Data Service, we are able to manage and monitor not only Dynamics 365 customer engagement, but now, of course, also Power Apps, because it's all based on the same XRM framework that we all know and love. Let me dive back into one of these customers. You can see that this screen is a little less busy than the other one, because for this customer, we're only monitoring their Dynamics implementation. We're not monitoring any custom IP. What I can do, in addition to having all of this basic information, I can drill down into their Dynamics organization. I can use the power of organizational insights, which is already pre-installed in all of the Dynamics 365 instances, starting with version 9. Without actually jumping into Dynamics, I can see all of that information about my customer. I can see who is using the system, what entities are popular. I can keep an eye on the storage. I can see all of the operations in that tenant. And we can actually bring this information up a little bit, because using Power BI, we collect all of that data from all of your customers, and we make sure that we give you insight across all of your customers. We can see a nice graph here with the average level of operation for each of our customers, and then we can start to see where things go wrong or maybe things go right. We can see on the 3rd of April here, there was a huge spike in usage, more than 500% increase as opposed to the normal amount of operation. So we can take this as an opportunity to contact that customer and then talk it through with them what happened on that day, or maybe they did a large import on that day, or maybe they enabled a synchronization on that day, or maybe something actually went wrong on that day. Not only can we see this in this overview here, but the Cloud Partner Panel would have also given us a notification of this because of that monitoring in the background. We make sure that you, as the partner for this customer, stay in the loop all the time, and often you find that you see things faster than your customer does. When managing your solutions, your IP, you can upload them into Dynamics, of course. That's fairly straightforward. But managing them across multiple customers is a slightly different story. We can see here these are a few solutions that I want to manage and I want to deploy across customers, where I can see that for these bottom two, this SharePoint one and this SLA one, I can see that I've deployed that already to 3 customers, and that this one is actually out of date. So I can drill down into that, and I can see that there is a customer out there in the wild that's using my solution, and it's actually out of date. So I can drill into that further. I can see that their latest version is actually 2.2.1, and they're still on the 0 version. So I can go ahead and schedule a deployment or an update for that, either right now or at the best possible time, because of course you want to deploy your solutions only outside of business hours when people are not really working with it. And then we have a solution here I've never deployed to this customer, and I can go ahead and deploy it to that customer if I so want to do, of course with approval of my customer, I hope. Now, I mentioned fast implementation as well. We have a fast implementation methodology as well, which we call Jumpstart. And I'll give you an example here of Jumpstart 365 for sales, implementing the sales process. Because a standard sales customer is not very exciting to implement. It's usually the same set of dashboards, the same set of questions you'll ask, the same sort of configuration you have to do for them. So what if you simplify that and bring it down to a multiple questionnaire and then just let the customer do that for themselves? So if I go into this implementation, which I already started, I can go into a questionnaire. This is normally a questionnaire you'll send to your customer, but seeing as we're in a bit of a time crunch, I'll just do this questionnaire myself. We can ask them some questions about the sales process. For example, are you a B2B or a B2C customer? Out of the box, Dynamics is very B2B oriented. Everything is account. Account is very important. You see the account everywhere, and account is usually a mandatory field, a required field as well. Well, what if you have a B2C customer? What if contacts are very important? So you pick this one and everything is swapped. We'll put contact on top. Contact is required, and we'll put account in the second row. Account is almost never required. We shift the focus of the entire system with one click of the button. How do you rate your customers? There is a drop-down on the account card, which allows you to rate the quality of your customers, but this drop-down, this pick list doesn't have any option set values in it by default. So let's give customers a few options to choose from. Let's say a scale from 1 to 10. The auto number functionality. It's enabled by default on most of the sales entities, but not on account and contact. So let's just ask a customer if they want their accounts to be numbered automatically. Let's say I'll go for this one, and am I starting them? Yeah, that looks about right. First name, last name, first name. It is a discussion you almost always have with your customer, but too late. They've already imported everyone, and they want to swap the first name and the last name. That's too late because the system doesn't change that retroactively, actually. Do we want an additional address on the form? Because by default, there's only one address on the form. Yes, actually, let's add another one. And how do I want my address formatted? What kind of a sales pipeline do I want? I want to do sales pipeline management. Do I want to use a product catalog? Yes, I do. Do I want
30 more
sales
seconds.
pipeline do I want? I can click through a lot of these questions, and each question will allow me to automatically change Dynamics a little bit. You saw that I selected sales pipeline, so here is the sales pipeline. I can quickly add another field. Send cake, because when we close a deal, we like to send a cake. Let me continue to the last step, which is selecting my team members. And while that loads, I'll show you this. This is what the finished product looks like. The questionnaire, based on what I've asked, based on what I've answered, the questionnaire configured Dynamics completely automatically for me. It turned off all the things I don't want. So I mentioned I wanted sales opportunity management. So that's what I have. I don't have anything else. I have only exactly the options that I asked for. So I do still have opportunities. I do still have leads because I wanted sales pipeline management, but everything else is gone. Now here, it has loaded now. We have an easier security role selection screen for selecting security roles. So the solution is automatically customized, deployed, the system is configured, and we're actually done within 5 minutes. That's pretty much what I had to show for you, what I wanted to show you. So thank you all for
Thank you very much. Thank you. All right, so now I'd like to announce the prize winner, and MindsUnited is actually giving away 16 hours of free CRM consulting, which can kind of mean an array of different things, but it's however you choose to use that consulting. And the winner of that is Fernando Corso. So congratulations. And now I'm actually going to switch it over to our final presenter, Matt Whitteman from Qlik Dimensions. So Matt, you should be able to share your screen now. Perfect. All right, take it away.
All right, thank you, Adam. And Michael, thank you for that. So my name is Matt Whitteman, and I am with Qlik Dimensions. We are a Gold Microsoft Dynamics partner who makes a native marketing automation system that plugs directly into Microsoft Dynamics. But before I tell you about Qlik Dimensions, I want to tell you about this motorcycle that you're looking at. I like to talk about my motorcycle any chance I get, so I thought this would be a perfect opportunity. This is my 2016 Triumph Bonneville T100 Black. It has 865 sweet cc's of torquey power, and let me tell you, it turns heads wherever I ride it. Before I bought this motorcycle, I had been researching and reading. I've been dreaming about it for years, but I've been looking at similar bikes, and over the years I narrowed it down to exactly the model that I thought I wanted, which was actually not this model. It was actually a Triumph Thruxton that I thought I wanted. So I was doing research online, and I found the dealer that had the best reviews online. I went to their website about a dozen times. I looked at their inventory of Thruxtons. I looked at a few Bonnevilles, like this one, and finally I committed. I filled in the form to schedule a test drive for a new Thruxton that I thought I was going to go get. So within a few minutes of scheduling that test drive by filling in the form on their website, I got a call back from this guy, Kevin, at the Triumph dealership. And he chatted with me about what I liked about the bike and how long I'd been riding, what I planned to do with it. I told him how I was mainly going to use it on summer evenings and on weekends. My wife, she also likes to ride on the back with me when we go out on our date nights. And then he chatted with me a little bit more and then confirmed the time that I was going to be there in a few days to try out the Thruxton. The day before I go for the test ride, I got a text message, an SMS, that reminded me about my appointment and sent me a link to directions to make sure I could find my way to the dealership. And when I got to the dealership with my wife, Kevin greeted me, and he had a Thruxton all set up and ready for my ride. To my surprise, he also had this beautiful black Bonneville ready to go too. And now that I was there in person looking at them, I realized how the Bonneville was probably a better fit. It would be a lot more comfortable for my wife to ride with me than the Thruxton would. Long story short, I did take both the motorcycles out for a test ride, but I ended up closing the deal on the Bonneville just a few hours later. And by the time I got home, I had an email from Kevin thanking me for my business, and it had some links in there about some accessories for the bike and an introduction to their service department. So now that that whole process was seamless to me as a customer. But what's cool about it was really enabled by Microsoft Dynamics 365 and Qlik Dimensions. So let me show you how. So you've all heard this before by now. This is every conference you go to, every event. According to Forrester, as much as 2/3 or maybe even as much as 90% of the buying process is done before a salesperson ever knows that the prospect even exists. And that was me. I was doing that research online about the motorcycle for a long time. I had already narrowed it down. I narrowed it down to the dealership that I wanted to work with. So I was probably, I don't know, 75, 80, maybe 85% of the way through that buying process. I had already done most of that selling to myself in the dealership, didn't even know who I was at this point. Luckily, Kevin at the Triumph dealership, they use Dynamics and Qlik Dimensions, so he had all of my many visits to his website recorded in his Dynamics environment. At this point, I was still anonymous, though. All he saw was these anonymous visitors. Boy, there's this guy coming from the same place, keeps showing up on our website. And it was just someone from some random IP address who kept coming back and looking at the Thruxtons and the Bonnevilles. But then I filled in that form to schedule a test drive. And when I provided my contact info, all of my previous visits were no longer anonymous. Suddenly, I was identified. I was a contact, and Kevin could actually go in and see all of those visits, all the pages, all the things I'd looked at right in Dynamics on my contact record, and he could drill in and see all the other history of my website visits. What forms had I filled in? What were the different dates that I came back and forth to the site? And once I filled in that form to schedule that test drive, all of my previous activity on the dealership's website was no longer anonymous. Qlik Dimensions automatically moved all of those visits over under that new contact record with my name, and now all those visits that had previously been anonymous were showing up attached with a name to them. And Kevin is able to drill into one of those and see those visits and see the pages that I viewed. You see that I came to the site on the Thruxton page and I left the site on the Bonneville page. And you can see how long I was on the site, how I got there, etc. So what was happening behind the scenes, when I filled in that test drive form, there was a Qlik Dimensions campaign automation that assigned Kevin a phone call task. So I submitted that form. That next step assigned a phone call to him, told him what to do, and linked back so he could see and he could go back and look at the history. Well, this guy filled in this form. What else was he looking at on our website? So before he even picked up the phone, he took a quick look at my contact record, saw all those pages, all that I visited on their website. And now, because I was no longer anonymous, he already knew that even though I'd scheduled the test drive for a Thruxton, I had also taken a look at the Bonneville. And when he gave me that phone call, he made some notes about how I wanted to take my wife with me on rides and the different ways I was going to use the motorcycle. And knowing that the Bonneville might just be a better fit, he was already planning to surprise me by having 2 different bikes ready when I showed up for that test drive. That same automation that prompted Kevin to call me also sent me an SMS message to remind me about my appointment. And since I had indicated that I preferred phone calls and SMS instead of emails, that's how I was getting some communication following through on this automatic journey. So the test drives went great. Kevin really knew his stuff. He sold me. I thought I was maybe 90% of the way through the sales process, but he was a really informed salesperson, and he really closed that deal and helped me understand that Bonneville was a better fit. And when that deal closed, Qlik Dimensions was already configured in his Dynamics environment, set up and waiting to send me an email welcoming me to the Triumph family and kicking off another automation that would automatically keep in touch with me throughout my ownership of that motorcycle and remind me about some of the accessories and services that were available to me, some of the special offers that they had at the dealership. And you know, I might just take them up on some of those things. So how do we do all that? Well, Qlik Dimensions provides a unified platform that combines the most important tools that marketers need. Campaigns can be automated, bringing together all these different channels like email and SMS and social, providing the web intelligence, so not just the marketing, but sales teams can work together to make informed decisions about what step they're going to take next with a prospect or a customer. And beyond all of our platform's features, Qlik Dimensions wraps all of that with a comprehensive training and support plan, what we call a success plan, so you're never on your own. Marketers will find all these tools in one place within their Dynamics environment. Qlik Dimensions delivers powerful out-of-the-box integration with Azure, our application that's built in Azure, and it delivers the results directly back to Dynamics. Our solution's quick to install. You can get up and running fast. And since we're natively built in Dynamics, you don't have to worry about some kind of complex integration or a connector that you have to configure. And we support Dynamics versions going all the way back to CRM 2011, and both online and on-premises. Kind of to sum it up for Qlik Dimensions, our mission is to make Microsoft technology work great for marketers. The technologies that marketers need to succeed can be complex. We've built not just our solution, but our whole company and the services we offer, all around this idea to make Microsoft technology work for marketers. We provide a lot of different ways to create emails. Marketers come from a lot of different backgrounds. Some are very technical and some are more on the creative side. And so we give you a variety of different ways to create those email templates. If you're working with an agency and they're providing you with the HTML, we have an editor, they can just drop in the HTML. And we have drag and drop editors that are really easy to use as well. As soon as our solution's installed, you can immediately begin creating the marketing content and begin using these tools. All of our email editors include an easy-to-use personalization menu. So if you're sending an email with 1,000 contacts, you can easily drop in any data from the contact record, first name, of course, relationship type. Even your custom fields will be shown in that drop-down. Not only that, but if you want to include data from the contact's parent account, for example, sending an email to a contact or to a lead, and there's some record that parents that contact or the lead, you can get that into the emails very easily as well. It goes even further than that. Because our system is natively built in Dynamics, you have full access to any data in your Dynamics system, whether that's from out-of-the-box records or your own custom entities, your own custom records, and you can display that, including images or content, dynamically. So you can build one email template that's really highly dynamic based on all the data you have in your Dynamics environment, and each recipient gets a highly personalized experience.
30 seconds.
We also have a lot of different ways you can send email to make it really easy through workflows and automations. Of course, we include forms and surveys built in right into the Dynamics interface with simple automations behind the forms to make it very simple for marketers so they don't have to get into workflows. And another last thing I'll highlight is our social posting and our connectors. Again, drag and drop, enter in your settings, and you're good to go with all the tools you're already using as a marketer. So with that, I'll let Adam announce who wins our prize.
Great, thanks, Matt. All right, so the winner of a $25 Amazon gift card and a Qlik Dimensions hooded sweatshirt goes to Angelia White. So congratulations. All right, so now what I'd like to do is actually turn it over for some questions. So if you have any questions, please feel free to type them into the Q&A box on the right side of your screen, and the presenters will get to them. So I'm just going to give people a couple of minutes to kind of collect their thoughts, and I'll start reading off the questions as they come in. All right, so it looks like we have a first question that came in for emfluence. And the question is, Dave, I'll read it aloud to you. It's, what impact does a marketing automation system have on Azure consumption?
Yeah, that's a great question. So that's one of the things that we feel like we have an advantage in not being native into Dynamics. So data is stored in our system. You can choose to sync or not sync whatever records you would like. So if there is a large portion of your database that you do not want to sync into our system, you don't have to. On the flip side, you can put lots of data into our system that you do not need to sync back to Microsoft Dynamics. So we have some clients that look at leads early in the funnel as something they would not want within their Microsoft Dynamics environment, so let's store that in our system only.
Great, thank you. So it looks like the next question, Michael, is for you. And that question is, how does the Cloud Partner Panel connect to Dynamics 365?
The Cloud Partner Panel connects to Dynamics 365 with the consent model that we've seen through other products like Dynamics and Office, you would have a one-time sign-in through either have your customer do it, or you can do it yourself as long as you have some kind of a user that has access to the Dynamics 365 organization. Then we are granted an access token by Microsoft, which we can use almost indefinitely to keep the monitoring tools running until the point, of course, where the customer may end their subscription or withdraw their consent, because they can do that at any given time. But after the one-time consent, the connection stays alive for as long as it can, even if the user changes their password or anything like that. So it's a native application integration.
Great, thank you. It looks like this question is Dave Malda for you for eBridge. How does the pricing structure work? It's a two-part question, actually. How does the pricing structure work, and what versions of D365 are currently supported?
Yeah, great question. Two great questions. So as far as products supported, so we support right now both the Enterprise Edition, and I believe it's called the Business Edition, or they may have changed it to Business Central. But we do support those editions as well as AX, Dynamics AX, NAV, GP, Solomon or SL, and then we have an RMS connector as well. So it's pretty much everything Microsoft. And then as far as pricing, we price out per workflow. So in my presentation, I mentioned two things. One is there's out-of-the-box product that we have, connectors that are pre-built that cover standard fields in systems. And then there's also if we identify a customization or an add-on that needs to have data pushed or pulled into, that would be a separate customization quote that we would share with the prospect. So again, by workflow is how we price it out. There's a setup fee, and then there's also an annual fee for running the platform. So hopefully that helps.
Great, thanks, Dave. It looks like this next question is for Qlik Dimensions. So Matt, I'll just read this aloud. So someone's asking, are Qlik Dimensions customers and prospects' attitudes towards BI and data analytics changing? And if so, how is that impacting your approach to data?
Yeah, definitely the attitudes are changing. I think as Microsoft has matured their BI story, a lot of the customers using Dynamics have also matured in their needs, or maybe they're looking back to Microsoft. Maybe they've been using other tools. So definitely, I've heard a lot of people speaking about data over the last year, where they say data is the new oil, and that's really where the value is. So when you look at marketing data, like is generated by Qlik Dimensions, it's such rich data, and there's so much to be gained from that, but often organizations don't know where to start in getting the value from that. So we provide our customers a lot of flexibility. We can put all that data in their Dynamics environment, or actually we can crunch the data in Azure and just surface in their Dynamics environment what's particularly important for them. But we also do have a whole story around how do you extract that value from that data? How does that all marry up together? And I think you'll be seeing as the new tools come from Microsoft with like customer insights and machine learning, as those are more widely adopted, you'll see new things coming from Qlik Dimensions as well.
Thanks. And Matt, we just had another question come in for you as well. Someone's asking how long Qlik Dimensions takes to get set up and go live.
So it's actually really fast. Once you've signed up with us, you get a solution file and can install it in 5 to 10 minutes. And you can actually begin using it right away. Just installing that solution file sets up the integration. You've got everything you need to start using it. Of course, we have an onboarding team that's going to walk you through some best practices to get set up to really get the most out of it. Make sure you have things branded correctly. But the initial install is super fast.
Great, thanks. Let's just see if we have any more questions that are coming in. And once again, feel free to type them directly into the Q&A box on the right-hand side of your screen, and we'll get to all of them. And actually, let me put all of your contact information up. So this is how to get in touch with each presenter if you'd like to ask them a question offline. Just leave this up here for a little bit. All right, well, it looks like we don't have any more questions coming in, so why don't we end there? I'd like to thank Dave Malda, Matt Witteman, David Cassiapo, and Michael Vandenbrink for doing an excellent job presenting their solutions today, and thanks so much for being with us. And I'd like to give a nice thank you to all the attendees that took time out of their day to join us as well. So thank you, everyone.
Thanks a lot, Adam.
Thank you.
Thanks, Adam.